Hi everyone, I hope you had a lovely Easter. We're back to it now, and this is a little video that will hopefully help you with the first English task in Home Learning Pack 3. Now it's all to do with something that we actually found a little bit tricky in Home Learning Pack 1. Today you're going to be looking at the possessive apostrophe, which is part of punctuating a possessive noun. Now the first question you've got to ask is, what is a noun? Well, a noun is a thing, a place, or a person. So it could be a game, a noun could be the supermarket, or a noun might be the woman. Usually, a noun is something that you'll be able to reach out and touch. You can hold a game in your hand before you put it in a console. You can walk along a supermarket floor, or you can reach out and hug a woman. Similarly, a proper noun is a thing, a place, or a person. But these type of nouns are special because they have a name, which means they're a particular type of noun. For example, Miss Bailey isn't just any woman, she's a teacher. Now, if one noun belongs to another noun, then we would say that the first noun possesses it. For example, the Queen, who is a person, possesses a crown, which is a thing. Both of these words are nouns, but we would say that the crown belongs to the Queen. So how could we write this more effectively? Well, we could use an apostrophe to show that the crown belongs to the Queen and say that it's the Queen's crown. It's not just a person who can own something though. A noun can belong to a person or an animal. Like in this case, it says the rat's cheese. The cheese belongs to the rat, and that's why we've used an apostrophe. Additionally, a noun could also belong to a thing, an object, as long as that thing has it. For example, this pencil, a thing, has a rubber, another thing, on top of it. So we would say that it's the pencil's rubber, and we'd use the apostrophe to show that. As you can see, when we write an apostrophe, it looks a little bit like a comma, but it always goes in the sky. Because it always goes in the sky, I like to remember him as an apostrophe bird. Let's have a go at putting the apostrophe bird in the correct place in a few sentences. Here's our first sentence. It says, Ridley looked at his dog's paw, worried that he'd been hurt in the nettled bushes. Can you spot the noun in this sentence that owns something else? Let's see if our apostrophe bird can. That's it. The dog owns his paw. Ridley looked at his dog's paw, worried that he'd been hurt in the nettled bushes. Let's have a go at another one. It says, the rat squeaked happily at the sight of it, but the human's cheese wasn't for them. Can you spot the noun in this sentence that owns something else? Let's see if apostrophe bird can. That's it. The cheese belonged to the humans, so it also needs an apostrophe to show this possession. Let's have a go at one more. This final sentence says, the bells rang through the town as the couple were married in front of their friends. Can you spot a possessive noun in that sentence? Let's see if apostrophe bird can. No, he can't. There's no possessive nouns in this sentence. If we have a look through, you might have been caught out with bells or friends, because both of these words are nouns and they end with an S. But the bells don't own anything, and neither do the friends. If these nouns don't own anything, then why is there an S at the end of them? Well, it's because there's more than one of them. They are plural nouns. And if we have a plural noun, we'll often show that by adding an S at the end of the word. For example, the dogs went for a walk tells me that there's more than one dog that's going walking. We don't need an apostrophe because those dogs don't own anything in this sentence. Let's have a go at spotting some plural nouns versus some singular nouns where there's just one of something, which own something else and therefore need one of these apostrophes. Sentence number 1 says, the pizzas tasted amazing. Pizzas is our noun. Does it need an apostrophe? Does pizzas own something? No, In this case, there's just more than one pizza. This is a plural noun, and therefore it doesn't need an apostrophe. Let's have a look at number 2. Number 2 says, the parrot's voice was squeaky when he talked. Does parrots need an apostrophe? Does the parrot own anything? Well, yes, he does. The parrot owns his voice, and therefore we need to put a possessive apostrophe before the S. We know there's just one parrot because it says when he talked, and he is a singular pronoun. Let's have a look at number 3. Number 3 says, suddenly the lady's bag was stolen by a robber. Let's look at the noun ladies. Does it need an apostrophe? Does ladies own anything? Yes, they do. The lady owns the bag, and therefore we need an apostrophe before the S. We know there's just one lady because it says was stolen rather than were stolen. Let's have a look at this final one. It says, as they went further along the path, they noticed that the path was being covered by more and more trees. Trees is a noun. Does it need an apostrophe? Does trees own anything? No. In this sentence, trees is just a plural word, and therefore we do not need an apostrophe. Okay, but what if there's more than one thing, a plural noun, that owns something? For example, what if I had more than one pencil and they all owned a rubber? I couldn't write the pencil's rubber because this is a plural noun, but it shows no possession. We wouldn't know that the rubber belonged to the pencils. Equally, it wouldn't work if I put my apostrophe before the S, because now it just looks like I only have one pencil which owns a rubber. What can I do? Well, the answer is this. If you have a plural noun that owns something, you put the apostrophe after the S. For example, the pencil's rubber. Let's have a look at this with our apostrophe bird. Here's one of the sentences we had earlier. The rat squeaked happily at the sight of it, but the human's cheese wasn't for them. What if I told you that in this case, there was more than one human? Where would I put the apostrophe? Let's see where apostrophe bird goes. That's right. We would still have to use it for humans because the humans own the cheese, but this time we put the apostrophe bird after the S to show that there's more than one human. This punctuation works for almost all plural nouns. For example, the dog's tails wagged. There's more than one dog and they own their tails, so the apostrophe goes after the S. The bird's eggs were cracking. There's more than one bird and they each have eggs that are cracking, so the apostrophe goes after the S. However, it doesn't work for all plural nouns because some plural nouns are irregular. For example, when we want the plural version of child, we don't say childs, we say children. When we want the plural version of man, we don't say mans, we say men. And this change of the plural form means that punctuating a possessive version of this noun is a little bit different. When your possessive noun is irregular and plural, you simply have to punctuate it like a singular possessive word, where the apostrophe goes before the S. For example, the men's socks were full of holes. Let's recap. A noun is a thing, a place, or a person. For example, a dog. If we want to show that that dog owns something, for example, it owns a tail, then we have to use an apostrophe and an S. For example, the dog's tail. And that apostrophe goes before the S because there's just one dog. What about if there's more than one dog though, but they don't own anything? If there's more than one dog or more than one noun, usually to make a plural word, we just add an S on the end. For example, dogs. We don't need an apostrophe unless they own something. And if they do own something and they're a plural word, for example, both of these dogs own a tail, We can show this by adding the S and adding the apostrophe, but this time by putting the apostrophe at the end, so we can see the plural word before it, the dog's tails. This is the case unless that plural noun is an irregular word. For example, children. If it's an irregular word, then you just punctuate it like normal and put the apostrophe before the S. For example, the children's ball. Right, that's enough of me talking for today. Hopefully you feel confident having a go at that job in your home learning pack now. Good luck.